Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and in this episode we're going to fit the Link ECU into Harry. Alright guys, as you saw last week, I finally finished wiring up the entire engine with all of its stuff, and I put in the bulkhead connectors. Now, before I go too much further, one of the points that was brought up, and it's quite a valid one, is that before I go too far, what I want to do is go through and continuity test every single connection. So all of these wires, I need to make sure go all the way through with the bulkhead connectors connected to everything that it's supposed to. So a little bit of playing around, but it's worth doing. So let's start doing that now. Alright, that was time consuming but worth doing, going through and continuity testing everything, so I know that whatever's plugged in here actually comes out the other end at the right plug. So that's done, it's tested, it's checked, and it's good. So let's go now over to Harry and look at what we're going to do about putting the ECU actually into the car. Okay, so that was time consuming, continuity testing everything, but it was well worthwhile. And now I know that everything goes through to where it's supposed to, and it's good just double checking that all the connections are in the right spots. So that is another job ticked off the list. What I've done, I just went through and I taped up the loom into one piece that I can take into the car. I haven't remove the rest of these wires yet because some of them are going to be needed inside the car, but let's go through now, disconnect this and start feeding it into the interior of the car. Okay, the interior is all pulled apart in here, and I fed the wires through. I need to get myself a big grommet of some sort to go through here, so obviously to protect the wires so they don't just rub out on the bare metal. That's that's an important bit. But I've got the wires through into the interior. I don't have a lot of length here, but I have enough. And what I'm thinking is I need to cut a hole through the sound deadening just down here so that I can get the wires through. And I'm going to mount the ECU down here, upside down against this wall. So let's start cutting some bits and pieces through and feed through the wires and get it sort of in the place we want to. Alright, so that is mounted. I'm quite happy with that. It's nice and sturdy, so that is going to be quite neat once I tidy up the rest of these wires. But I'm not going to mess with them just yet because there are things that I'm going to have to connect up inside the cabin. But for now, let's move back into the engine bay and have a look at what I'm going to do with that bulkhead connector. All right, one of the questions I had last week, which I didn't actually cover, was how did I get the length of the loom to mount my bulkhead connectors? And basically all I did was I measured from the center of the engine to the edge, and the edge of where I want the loom, and I measured from the center of the engine bay to the edge. I know that roughly where the corner of the engine is going to sit, and by measuring from the center across, I got it pretty accurate, so I've got enough room to mount things in. So what I'm going to do now is I need to try and make up some sort of bracket to hold these bulkhead connectors nice and tidy in here so that they're mounted firmly and I can just plug them in. That's the plan. So it's time to go back to our cardboard aided design and try and work something out. Okay, so you see I've mocked up my cardboard template. I've got a bit of an idea of what I'm looking for, and I've also left some space so that sort of up somewhere about there I can mount my adjustable fuel pressure regulator, because obviously I need to have fuel coming in and out of this thing. I was considering mounting up the back. I might still do that, but there's room for it here. It's going to be neat there and easy to get to, whereas back here I can make a mount, but it's, yeah, I think up there is going to be good. I can run the lines through, and I think that should be nice. So keep everything nice and neat and tidy over this side. So now it's time to take this out and start making this in metal. I just want to mention, one of my viewers watched a previous video on the angle grinders, and I was talking about how the cordless angle grinder, I can't do my usual trick of cable tying the handle to it because it doesn't go anywhere, you know, the tool. But they put me onto these cool, I think it's called a Fixed Tech nut. And so I don't actually, it's got a little handle on it that flicks up, so you can actually undo it without having the tool, which is fantastic. So I don't have to run backwards, go to the place where I remember I left the tool and all that sort of stuff. I can just undo it by hand, do it up, and I'm off again. Not a sponsor, just a great piece of gear. I'll see if I can add a link in the description. Big fan. And then we have my my new mounting bracket for my bulkheads. I also have plenty of space here to mount my fuel pressure regulator, have the fuel lines coming in and out. That's all going to work nicely. So that is a win. It's just time to finish tidying this up, give it a bit of a prime and a paint, and make it black and pretty. All right, so the new panel is made up, ready to go in the car. We're really chipping away at this. It's slow and methodical trying to make our way there, but next week I might have a look at starting to do something with the fuel system, so work out how I'm actually going to mount up the these fuel rails to the fuel pressure regulator and actually connect the fuel lines all the way through. I've also got to sort out the relays and the power wiring to the this smaller loom on the car side. So that's something I've got to tackle, jump through. It's quite interesting working my way through this old system, trying to work out exactly what wire does what so that I can connect it all up. That's it for this week. Make sure if you need to buy any Porsche parts, you check prices and compare prices first at Porsche Parts by Jeff. You probably save yourself some money, and help us out on Patreon, and you can watch the videos a day early. It's well worthwhile. All right, guys, until next time, see ya.